Coach.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I got a question for you.
Sure.
Okay, so I've been talking to this guy. I met him like maybe 2 months ago, and we've only had like one successful date. But after that first date, it was like his communication dried up, slowed down. But he still calls I don't know, once a week, and he has nothing to say, and he has no like, he's not like making any effort to make any additional plans. So I'm just like, hey, what's up? How's it going? He's like, oh, updating me on his day, his life, whatever. I do the same. The call ends, and then I don't hear from him again.
Mm.
So I was like, should I just block him? I don't really feel like having the conversation of like,
Right.
you're not putting in enough effort.
Yeah.
La da 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 da.
Like
It's
you don't want to
summertime.
like teach people like basic rules of engagement, right?
Exactly. I don't feel like
Yeah.
I need to go through all that.
Right.
But
Okay.
I also like he's a single parent, I'm a single parent, so I'm trying to like give him some grace. Lives are busy, but at the same time, it's like nobody's that busy,
Right.
right? Am
Correct.
I overthinking it?
Not at all. So, how'd you meet this person?
I met him out at like this kind of live music spot that I go to every now and then.
Uh huh. Okay. And you met him at a music spot. He got your information. How was conversation like when y'all first exchanged phone numbers?
It was really good. He's like a FaceTimer. He likes to FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking like every day for a long time. He went on a vacation. He FaceTimed me while I was on vacation. I went on a vacation like maybe the next week. And, we were FaceTiming a lot. Communication was like really popping. Conversation was good. Then like he set the date. We went on the date, had a good time. It was like a gentle, a small little kiss at the end. So I thought, okay, cool. He's not pressing my boundaries. He's respectful. This went well. And
Mm-hmm.
then, it kind of deteriorated from there.
Gotcha. And how soon did y'all schedule the first date?
It took a while because, like I said, like we both are single parents. We both have our kids for 1 week on, 1 week off,
Mm-hmm.
and like we're on a similar schedule. So like the weekends he doesn't have his daughter. I also don't have my son, but he went on vacation and then I went on vacation. So it was like probably 4 weeks before we actually got a chance to like hang out.
Okay. 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 So it was 4 weeks after you exchanged numbers. What did y'all do for the first date? And how was the first date, like as an experience?
We went to dinner. We went to like a pretty standard Mexican restaurant. You know, it was just a dinner date, pretty straightforward, and like a storm was rolling in, so we kind of ended the date short. Typically after like dinner, I'm kind of hoping the guy will say like, "Oh, do you want to go?" You know, walk around the area or whatever, you know what I mean? Kind
Mm-hmm.
of seeing if there's like additional interest after like a dinner. But like storm was coming in, so we both were just like, all right, well, let's call it a night and talk soon.
Right. So how long was it? Like an hour?
No, it was a couple of hours. I
Okay.
mean, we sat for, we had a couple of cocktails. We had a I think we had appetizers and a main, and then got the check. But I mean, it was a busy restaurant, so a couple of hours, maybe 2-3 hours.
Okay, but it was a good vibe between you two?
Yeah, the vibe was good. Like it was really natural. There was a little bit of physical like touch, not like anything overly aggressive. We actually were sitting at the bar of the restaurant because I had gotten there a little bit before him, so I just sat at the bar and waited for him. And then when he got there, we stayed at the bar. So it was kind of cool because we were able to talk, and the banter was there. We were laughing and kind of people watching, and I felt like the vibe was really good. But maybe I misread it.
Okay. And how long ago did the first date occur?
This was like, geez, almost a month ago now.
Oh, wow. So no conversation around a second one?
Not really. He's like called and said, "What's up? How you been? Where you been? Haven't heard from you." I'm like, "I'm here. I'm just around.
Haven't heard from you. Do
Nothing."
you ever initiate contact with him?
I mean, I do from time to time, but not like after the first date. I think I initiated contact and I was like, "Hey, I hope your day is going well." And then he was like, "Yeah, it's good." And it was just like a really dry response. So then I started pulling back. like a lot because it felt like the responses were pretty dry.
Okay. But before the first date, you were like initiating more or no?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, before the first date, I felt like it was mutual. You know, he would call, then I would call, vice versa. It was pretty equally, equal initiation going on.
Okay. And pulling back is just you lacking initiation, or is there more to you pulling back?
No, I mean, I feel like I pulled back because I felt like his response was dry, and
Okay.
so that's why I pulled back.
Okay. But I'm saying when you pull back, you mean that you just stop initiating, or you also
Yeah.
were giving dry responses?
No, I stopped initiating.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would leave it alone,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. I would leave it alone.
Yeah.
It probably was a situation where, does he seem like someone who is probably has a lot of options?
I mean, probably he's like
Okay.
really handsome, tall,
Yeah.
the kind of the pick of the litter type of guy.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Um,
he just put a lot of effort in to get you out. Um, so you got a lot of that like initial energy just because he
yeah,
needed some momentum in the connection. Like before you get someone out, it's easier to lose them.
right,
But
right.
then once you get them out, it's like there's a little bit more stickiness there, right? Um, it's probably juggling people is how I would read it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
That's a fair read. All right, well, thank you.
No
That
problem,
solves
love.
it.
Absolutely. You take care.
All right,
Mhm.
bye.
Yep. That's I know it's rough out there, people. I know it's rough out there. We're like it's very hard to navigate the current dating environment because we're not built for the challenges that we're facing. We're dealing with endless optionality paired with a lack of external structures that will influence us to be together. Terrible combination. Terrible combination. That's why it's so rough out here for both sexes. Terrible combination, right? Now you think about it, women are kind of like wired to choose their best option. Makes sense. Only makes sense though in a world where they don't have access to everyone. Now it's like Jesus Christ, it's the Olympics out in this bitch. So then they go for like the best guy on the planet or like a very desirable, very attractive guy, and he has 100 other women chasing him too. How do you win in that situation? It's very difficult. Very, very difficult. Where the pick me's at? What you mean, Cedar? You want to pick me? That's what you optimizing for? A pick me? I don't know if you'll like that, brother. You seen Obsession yet? You want a chick like who's in Obsession. The women who succeed will be the ones who choose right what the best option is. It's when you say choose, a lot of people aren't choosing. They're following what their body tells them to do, which is another big one, man. That's another big one because I've said that a lot of like there's issues on the male side and the female side. So it's not like one side is a problem, the other side isn't. There's problems on both sides, right? I've said this a time and time again. A lot of the issue on the woman's side is a lot of women want connection. They want to want relationships. They want to want marriage. But when they come across someone who can give that to them, they run. Why? Question is why? It's multiple reasons, multiple answers as to why. One reason is when they're in fantasy land of thinking about what they want, they're not factoring in it may not feel good when they encounter it. So the process of entering into a relationship isn't just positive feelings. There may be some fear there. There may be some hesitancy. There may be some discomfort. And the culture that we live in is telling a lot of people that if you feel bad feelings, you're in a bad situation. And that's not true. They're not factoring in the pressure and responsibility that comes with it. Right, which produce bad feelings. They think bad feelings means I'm doing the wrong thing. No, those bad feelings are going to come. Those bad feelings are just discomfort, and they're going to come with making such an important decision. That's on the woman's side of things. Men also suffer from that. But with a lot of men, it's more so like the paradox of choice. I think more men suffer from the paradox of choice. Where it's like, well, I have all these options. I can't possibly, like, why would I just choose you? You know what I mean? So it's a clusterfuck out here. I'm doing my best to kind of navigate it on y'all's behalf. But it's a clusterfuck out here. Anything you might be a bit nervous about, generally you care about? Right. Trauma therapist here. That's only true for unhealed individuals, both women and men. Respect to your profession, I don't believe that healed is a state that one reaches. Right? And a lot of people, if we're going to go by that definition, the vast majority of people out here are unhealed. So when you say that's only true for unhealed men and women, my response to that is, right, that's the vast majority of people. So it doesn't functionally help the situation to even describe it as such. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't point to a solution. If your solution is to find healed people, my answer to you would be, where are they? I didn't miss your point, love. I think you missed my point. I think you were the one missing the point here. How does what you say help the situation? How does that help people make decisions and help them when it comes to choosing who to be with? All right, do we have any more callers? Let me see. I think that person dropped. Again, people, if you have a question pertaining to dating and relationships, you can hit the button at the bottom of the screen with the blue and pink person. I will bring you up and solve your issue, okay? Hello. Hello.
So sorry, I accidentally pressed that button by accident, but I appreciate it.
Very nice voice, though. I let you down, though. You have a good one. Very clear. I don't know if she had a very clear microphone. That shit came in crystal clear. Crystal clear. Audiobook voice. Right. Who was I talking to yesterday? I think I was talking to Danny yesterday. I think that like when you for people out there who have been developing themselves and been trying to like heal in some way, I think that a lot of them struggle a lot in the dating market because the work that they've done is also the thing that deters other people. Right? I was talking to Danny. I was talking about this idea of like identity. Some people, so if we look at this from a biological perspective, right? I've always said like your nervous system doesn't choose, like you don't choose what's best for you, you choose what's most familiar. From a biological perspective, your nervous system is looking for like what are you used to? What am I used to feeling? Right? So you grew up in a chaotic environment, you're going to probably select for chaos unconsciously. You're going to perceive that anxiety that you feel as an indication, or you're going to receive that as passion. That's how it's going to feel to you, passion. And then you're going to make bad decisions that way. But from a psychological perspective, we are playing into this concept of like identity, the role that we play. So for example, if you are a man who's always played the role as the fixer or the guy who's needed, the problem solver, and you get with a woman who doesn't need you to fix anything, doesn't need you to solve her problems, you don't know how to show up in that dynamic because you've only known this role. So what role do I play here? Right? You've only known this role, so what role do I play? You've entered into the unknown, so you're likely going to sabotage the connection. Because you're like, I've been casted in this role. I've only played this role. And you're like, it's not needed here. So then what role do I play? Women do the same thing. A lot of women have played the emotional intelligent one, the mature one, right? The one who's been done dirty. But then if they come across someone who's not going to do any of that, they're like, what role do I play? It's so interesting to me because consciously, these people will disagree with that. They will say they're choosing they'll say they want X, Y, and Z, but it doesn't match the role that they're used to. It doesn't match the role that they're used to. If you are a man who's only solved problems in all your relationships, you don't know how to not do that. If you're a woman who's only been done dirty, who's only had people treat her poorly, and you've only been in negative situations, even though you consciously don't want that, it's the role that you have played. Thus, you do not know how to play a different role. So if you encounter someone who is forcing you to play a different role, you're not going to know how to handle it. And you're probably going to rationalize a reason to leave the connection. Is that resonating? Because you rather choose a familiar hell over a unfamiliar heaven. It's like, I've taken acting classes for this role. I worked with an acting coach for this role. I know the lines of this role. I've done scene studies for this role. I don't know how to play another role. I'm not prepared for that. So I'm going to go, and people stay stuck in these cycles for decades before, and they never learn different. So they're just playing into that same drama. They're playing into that same drama over and over and over and over and over again. Your role requires someone who's going to make you complain. Your role is going to require somebody who's going to make you engage in protest behaviors if you're anxious, or fight them, argue, right? You're used to that role. So you're going to keep selecting people who make you play it. And then if you come across someone who does not force you to play it, you don't know what to do. So you leave because people hate the unknown. Familiarity and role personification, even if seeing it as a tool, right? It's so fascinating to me. That's why I say people's past relationships, this isn't 100%, but people's past relationships, the dynamic that they had is so informative. It's so informative on the capacity that they have to play a different role in the future. If you're dealing with someone who's only been in negative situations, odds are they can't be in the positive one. And if they can, there better be a good reason why. Like, it needs to make sense. Like, what happened after your last relationship ended? What work was done on your behalf that now has equipped you to be in a totally different situation, a 180 situation? If you don't have that data, I promise you it's not going to work. I promise you it's not going to work. If there is no clear articulation that showcases, outside of divine intervention, that showcases they've integrated the experience and have done some work, and going to therapy is not what I mean either. Fuck that. Going to therapy nowadays, to me, is like a vanity metric. When I hear people say they're going to, and this is nothing against therapy either. Like, therapy is good, but it don't mean anything to me. The proof is in the pudding. So if I hear someone say I went to therapy, that's the equivalent of me talking to a business owner who's broke, but they have 1 million followers on Instagram. It's like, yeah, you have 1 million followers on Instagram, but so what? You're broke. Your business doesn't make money. It's a vanity metric. It doesn't ultimately mean anything. People look at it like it's a checkbox. So when I say the explanation needs to make sense, I don't mean they went to therapy and now they're magically able to be in a healthy relationship now. No. Absolutely not. As a therapist, I wouldn't say that because a lot of people are struggling. I wouldn't say what? I would say that 100%. 1000%. Therapy is encouraged. Therapy can be great, but therapy does not. That don't mean shit to me. Almost every woman I've dated has gone to therapy. They still have the same fucking attachment issues that they had. Still made the same decisions that they've been making. It doesn't mean anything. What it means is a lot of these people are just better articulating their wounds. So that's not to say therapy is bad. It just means that therapy is not a guarantee that this person is now capable of holding a healthy connection. That's the point that I'm making. Because it does not. It don't mean that. People, they look at it that way, though. I hear women saying, like, I'll ask a man, has he been to therapy? What are you asking that for? That doesn't prove anything. That's like asking someone if they go to church. Going to church don't mean you have a connection to God. You could be going to church just out of habit, just out of routine. Going to church don't mean you take Christianity seriously. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? In addition to therapy, there needs to be active efforts to do opposite of what's first instinct. Right. So you pay attention to other variables. That's like what I say. You pay attention to other variables. You pay attention to it's like when I told y'all about testing capacity. Not like testing capacity meaning you need to artificially create a test, but capacity is tested by intimacy and friction. I would add a third variable, reality. Reality means concrete plans are being made. So going on dates, seeing one another, integration into each other's lives. So there's like 3 ways to test capacity: intimacy increasing, friction or conflict being introduced to the dynamic, and reality being tested. Those are 3 ways to test capacity. When you start testing capacity, you want to observe, how do they respond? When friction is introduced, do they repair? Do they repair? Told you, repair is a very important thing to vet for. Does this person have a willingness to repair? Not perfectly, but do they have a will? Is their heart posture one where they want to make things right and heal whatever just occurred? Right? Intimacy. As y'all get closer, how are they responding to that? How are they responding to that closeness? You'll see some people, they come out the gate with a lot of affection, a lot of energy, and then as intimacy increases, they start to pull back a bit. They magically aren't as available anymore. They start shifting their behavior, right? That's a problem. That's a problem. They have an intimacy issue. That's how they're responding. They're going to rationalize it. They're going to tell you things like they're busy. They're going to rationalize it, but like test intimacy. So we're testing things with friction. That's why I told y'all, like, I had a client, a woman who was dating this guy for 7 months and she never introduced any friction, meaning she had problems with things in the connection. She had problems with the guy she was dating and she didn't bring it up because she wanted to be the cool girl, right? The girl who didn't cause any issues, the girl who didn't rock the boat. Interesting thing about this situation, when she met him, he was only like a month or 2 removed from his multi-year long relationship. She asked him, was he ready for another one? And he said yes, right? Because she was hesitant about dealing with him. So to not rock the boat, she didn't include any friction into the connection. Now, what happened? Eventually, she found something, some information out about this person, made her upset. And she introduced friction. This was 7 months into the connection, though. But when she introduced friction, he didn't like that. The next day, he ended things. And he said that he wasn't as ready for a relationship as he thought. So don't be that person. Don't try to be cool, right? If there's something you have an issue with, bring it up. I'm not saying snap on the person, but bring it up. Okay, do they repair? Do they hear you out? It's important. Yeah, would have saved her a lot of time. You could have, found it out month 2. You could have found it out month 2. But you wanted to wait. Right? So he magically was like, oh, well, I'm actually not ready for a relationship. Yeah, because he's not ready to handle hard conversations. Okay? So intimacy, how do they respond to intimacy increasing? Friction, how do they respond to any kind of conflict? Do they have a tendency to repair? And then reality. Reality is basically integration into each other's lives. So why do I tell people who are long distance, right? Like when people meet long distance, maybe on social media or on dating apps, right? Where they talk for months and they don't see one another. They're not testing reality, which is another way to discern capacity. So that's the third variable, reality. So I always tell them you need to see each other as soon as possible, because now we can start testing reality. When you're just on FaceTime, when you're just talking on the phone, you're not testing reality. You're still in fantasy. We got to test reality. What does reality look like? That's another way to test capacity. So you have to keep an eye on these things. You have to observe. It gives you a lot of data. Maybe the fourth variable can be past. Yeah, I guess their past is another way. It's not, but that's not something that's tested. That's more so something that you vet for coming in. Let's see if we have any more callers. Was that helpful for you all, that little breakdown? Because I'll make a video about that soon. What's up, Zion? Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. My question is, like, I kind of set it up a little bit. Most of the time when I'm having conversations with people, like, I'm a very blunt person, so, like, I love to get those, like, hard conversations and things out of the way. I like to attack certain topics head on, just because, you know, I'm not one that you can just not, like, I love talking about everything, like, all at once. Like, let's go ahead and get an understanding.
Right.
And so I've talked to some peers and things because, like, I'm currently single, not exactly looking, but that's neither here nor there. And I've made the mention of, hey, like, when you're getting serious into a relationship with someone, I feel like at that point you should be taking inventory of, like, you know, when you were just speaking on intimacy. So intimacy moving into, like, the physicality of it and things like that. And I'm like, well, before you even get to that level of intimacy with someone, like, take inventory of things that you like to do. Let them take inventory of things that they like to do, and honestly break down whether or not it's actually something that's healthy for them. Are they just doing it out of a place of trauma? Or are they doing it out of a place of comfortability or habit or whatever the case?
Right.
And when I say that, people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't even be talking about that until you get to a certain point. Like, you know, just kind of pushing it off. And I'm like, well, why? Because the sooner that you realize that something is not healthy, but you just like it, like I was just for to be very blunt with it, like things like that you want to do, like in the bedroom, or like kinks and like all these things that you want to do, or the way that you receive intimacy, because some people are very touch starved and they just want you to, like, oh, just hold me because I wasn't held as a child and stuff like that, you know. So my question ends up being to you: what are your thoughts on taking inventory of yourself in that way, and understanding what you like and whether or not it's healthy to bring into a relationship? And am I crazy for even wanting to have that conversation?
How soon are you having that conversation? You're speaking mainly about sex, right?
Yes, but also the intimacy beforehand. So, like, even if you were like down to the love languages, like if you are words of affirmation, well, why are you words of affirmation? If you're physical touch, why are you that? You know, is it because of something that you lacked, or, you know, like from that place?
Yeah, so love languages are fine. It's the thing that's warped is the new normal is, like, I'm a big picture guy. I look at the fruit from, like, a biblical perspective. I think it's very wise to, if you want to understand the quality of something, look at the fruit that it produces. I think that it's not what's the word I'm looking for? I think there's a reason why relationships are so bad now, and that timing aligns with sexual liberation. I think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a good thing. I think the most intimate act you can have with a person is sleeping with them. Now, I'm human too. I'm guilty of doing that relatively quickly, but I don't think it's a good thing. Culturally, I don't think it's a good thing. So it comes off like in poor timing, the way that you're describing it, because you're basically describing the most intimate act you can have with a person. It's like you're skipping stages. Like, it doesn't
Right.
get more intimate than that, and you probably haven't covered all the other prerequisite intimate conversations before you've
Right,
actually
and
arrived there.
and I'm not saying like have this conversation like within a week of like being no like that.
Right.
Like again, I didn't know like your beliefs and whatnot, so that's why I didn't kind of press it. But I end up having these conversations with my siblings in Christ. So it's like I always said that it was very much like when y'all know like y'all are like courting or when y'all are y'all get engaged at that point that conversation needs to be had
for sure.
and so
Yeah, if your question is like, should you know this before like a deeper commitment be made?
Like taking inventory of yourself.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, that's what I thought you meant, like somewhat early in the connection, like you're still dating.
Right,
No, that's
because
not
I'm
necessary.
like, because people are like, if even then, some of my peers like they're so like scared of lust, like because of course, I mean, Bible says flee, and I understand, absolutely flee, but there's something completely different between you like partaking and you simply writing this stuff down, saying, okay, well this. Like, Lord, I'm handing this to you. Like, is this healthy?
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You want to know. I mean, it's ultimately just a compatibility conversation is what you're getting at.
Okay.
Like, will we work together based on these expectations that you have?
Understood.
Right. So yeah, I think that you should have that conversation. Just like have it to your point when it makes sense to have it. Which is, okay, if a deeper commitment is going to be made, then yeah, I'm going to need to know this information. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's wise.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I don't
Someone,
feel so crazy.
so someone disagreed with you on that?
Yeah, like, because they're people are scared to have these conversations, and I understand where they're coming from because they're just like, well, I don't even want to open the door yet, and da-da-da. And I'm like,
it's a deeper issue here. Our current culture is, they think, I said this earlier in the live, people really think that if something makes them uncomfortable, it's wrong. That's the meta point that you're making. There's so many ways this manifests, but one of the ways is what you're talking about right now. They're uncomfortable having that conversation. So because I feel discomfort around it, and I've been conditioned by society that my feelings are super valid. That's it. Your feelings are valid, but your feelings aren't reality. Right? People take that your feelings are valid to mean like your feelings are reality. Therefore, you should make a decision based on your feelings. That's always been bad. That's always been a bad move. No, you cannot. Your feelings are data.
Come on.
They're data. You should look at them and see, what is this telling me? Your feelings are not reality though. Right. And people are living as if their feelings are reality. So if something makes them uncomfortable, they're like, well, I'm just not going to do that because why would I do something that makes me feel this way? It's like, because to grow means people tell you to get out of your comfort zone, which means you got to get uncomfortable for you to grow. Yes. People don't want to face themselves because the act of facing themselves makes them uncomfortable. So now it's like, well, then I don't do it then. And it's oh my God, it's part of the reason that has created, we are, what's the biblical phrase for it? Where you make other, I'm blanking for some reason today, where you make other gods other than the true God. What's it called again?
Idolization.
Yes, we're making idols of our feelings nowadays. So it's like you're quite literally following your feelings. They have become your North Star because we don't have a North Star to replace it with. So like part of our the issue is we used to come from a society where we had external structures that kind of nudged us in a direction to help make our decisions easier. So like take relationships and marriages, right? Our structures have never been perfect because we live in a world that you can never get perfection from. There's always going to be flaws with any kind of system that we create because we're flawed. So perfection cannot come from a flawed creation. We're flawed, so anything that we create is going to be flawed, right? So, religion used to serve a purpose to nudge you in the right direction. Culturally, your parents used to shame you for leaving relationships or marriages. So you had external structures that would reinforce commitment. Those have been removed. So now we're left to make really our own decision. And a lot of people have the maturity level of children. So they're making a decision that is equivalent to eating their dessert before dinner because there's no parent to reinforce they should eat dinner first. Right?
Yeah.
And people are applying that logic to romantic connections. They're just eating the cookie before dinner because no one's forcing them not to do that. There's no external structures influencing them not to do that. And then they're complaining about their stomach ache. Right?
Wow.
It's incredibly frustrating. I'm doing my best to help people navigate it. But I'm also in the game. It's frustrating for me as well. Because there aren't a lot of people who are making the wise choices nowadays. They just aren't. So you just gotta take what you can take and be patient enough to survive the game long enough until you actually win it.
You know what? I'm gonna just sit in the house, let the Lord bring him to my doorstep.
There we go. There we go.
It's scary out there, man. But thank you for answering my question. I don't feel as crazy as when I stepped up here, so I appreciate
No
that.
problem, dear. Best of luck to you. All right. People, if you are currently having a lot of struggles, you're spiraling, experiencing a lot of emotional pain regarding your romantic life, I can help you solve it with a 1-hour coaching call. Okay? This icon right here, hit that button below, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If you're approved, because I don't take on everybody, if you're approved, I will send you a link on how you can book your call and we can help solve your issue. Okay? You'll get clarity on your situation, so you'll stop thinking about what should I do? Is this the right move? What's actually happening here? Is he or she the good fit? Should I go back with him or her? All that kind of good stuff, right? You get the clarity, but you also get a simplified action plan, step-by-step plan to help you solve your issue. Okay? 1-hour coaching call will help you with all the above. Also, me and the Moz are taking over Dallas August 14th through the 17th. We're going to Dallas, Texas. We got an Airbnb there. You will have to pay your way, but we're opening it up to people on the live. We have a couple of slots left. So if you would like to join us in Dallas, Danny right there in the chat, add him, send him a DM. He'll send you a form to fill out. We're doing a raffle for who's going to be able to be included. People who have been clients get 3 entries into the raffle. People who have purchased their implementation packages after being clients get an additional 3 entries. Okay? So just keep that in mind. All right. Do we have any other callers? Hello? Hello?
Oh, snap. Hello?
You didn't mean to come up?
No, I didn't. I'm driving.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No worries. I'll take it down. Y'all go.
Okay, thank you.
She had a nice voice too. A lot of nice voices today. All right. Do we have any other callers? Again, if you have an issue with dating, you want to call in, you can hit the button at the bottom of the screen with the blue and pink person. That will make you request up, and I'll bring you up and solve your issue. All right. That's what y'all gonna be doing there. We might do a little live Q&A there. We're just gonna enjoy the city, man. One of the mods, Hannah, is in Dallas, so she's gonna show us, like, show us the city, show us what to do, how to have a good time, but really just connect. I haven't met any of the mods in person yet, so it'll be a fun time to just kind of connect. Originally, it was just going to be a trip with me and the mods, but we decided to open it up to other people who watch the live as well. So that should be a good time. Did someone call me Jive? How old are you, Lenny? Lenny said he's Jive. He ignored my question in all caps. Well, I will tell you something I do know, Lenny. People who normally write things in all caps tend to be mentally unstable. So you see how many people we have in here. You see I'm actively taking calls. Why do you think you're special, Lenny? I can promise you, whatever problem you're having is probably connected to you thinking that you're special and being entitled. So I will start there and see if that solves your problem. That's where I would start. All right, what other questions do we have? Again, you can request up by hitting the button at the bottom of the screen with the blue and pink person. You can also drop your question in the chat. If I don't have a caller, I will do my best to answer it. What if I'm pretty but I have a chronic disease? When I tell a man that, he just doesn't care anymore. When are you telling him that? It also depends on what disease you have. So if you have any kind of issue like that, I wouldn't come out the gate sharing that. You kind of want to share that after you've had a date. or two. That's not something I would lead with. I had a client who had another, like, he had, what was it called? MLS or some shit like that. I forgot what it's called. Shakes. And he like shared it on the first date. I'm like, well, don't share that on the first date. You want them to actually like ALS, right? Wow, did I say MLS? I knew it was some fucking letters, all right? So I was like, don't share that on the first date. At least give yourself like a fair chance. Like let her at least experience you first and see if that's something that she wants to deal with. Because almost everyone's going to say no if you lead with it. And that's not being manipulative either. That's something that's very personal to you. So people have to earn that type of personal information. They need to earn access to your inner world. So yeah, go on a date or two with them before you share that information. Don't just be like, hey, nice to meet you. I have ALS. What do you want to drink? Right? Like that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You can fill out the form, but the flight is up to you. Yeah, if y'all interested in the Dallas trip, like you got to fly yourself out. You got to pay your portion of the room. Like this isn't like a free trip in any capacity. But it should be a fun time. Some of y'all getting bunk beds though. Just be aware, because the big papa going to yours truly. Some of y'all gonna have to. Gonna have to get on there, get the top bunk. Good night. Good night. You're gonna have to do that shit. Good night. Good night. See you in the morning. That shit. Okay. So make sure you have access to your inner child, because you're gonna need them. We are hosting a get together for the locals. Yeah, I think we're doing that. I think we're doing that for sure. There might be a little Q&A action going on. I'm looking forward to it though. I'm hoping that all the mods can come out. Eva has like dropped off the planet. I don't know where she is. I know she was in the process of getting a house. Yeah, like Rocky said, please make sure to follow Coach over on YouTube. Yeah, so I'm streaming on YouTube right now. If you ever missed these, the replay is on YouTube. Link in bio for that. The name on YouTube is also at The Signal Dating. How many people do we have watching on YouTube right now? We're supposed to be like putting a lot more effort to build up YouTube. It's just, we got 7 viewers right now on YouTube. Nice. That's cool. So we still got to build that up. I'm talking to some venues this week. Nice. Has anyone sent you payments yet? Or I can send mine today, Danny. Danny's been phenomenal with like orchestrating this whole thing. Like that TISM has been activated and it is a sight to behold. I've never seen someone light up more over something that I perceive to be boring like Danny has over planning this trip. It's quite the experience. All right, people, what questions do we have? What questions do we have? I have talking to clients all day today. So if y'all want y'all's 1-hour coaching call where we solve your most painful, pressing romantic issues, definitely get that, because you don't want to wait until I get booked up. You don't want to wait until I get booked up. Even if you don't have a pressing issue right now, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It is much easier to prevent something than it is to solve it after it has occurred. Ask any doctor. You want to prevent heart disease, not try to solve it on the back end, right? I'm excited for my call. I'm excited as well, Mandy. Is there such thing as moving too fast? Trips within 2 months of knowing each other? I mean, there is a such thing as moving too fast, but like, what trip are you going on, Crystal? How did you meet this person, and what trip are you going on? How many dates too? Is this the second date? Then yeah, right. What's the best way to meet someone new, as dating sites are a joke these days? So you want to put yourself in static environments, right? Static environments, there's two ways to meet people in person organically: static environments and dynamic environments. Dynamic environments are places you go where every time you go, there's new people there. So bars, clubs, restaurants, those are going to be dynamic environments. They can work, they're just not optimal. Because one, dynamic environments tend to select for people who are more interested in short-term dynamics, meaning you're likely not going to meet your husband or wife at a club. People tend to go there for short-term interactions. And then two, you limit exposure to the person. So if there's any connection that's going to happen, it has to happen now. Static environments are the opposite. They're environments where every time you go, you see the same people over and over again. Those are much better environments to form any kind of romantic connection. And it's how we've primarily connected romantically historically. There was always a community approach to making romantic connections, right? You also benefit from something called the mere exposure effect, which is a fancy way of saying the more touch points or conversations you have with the person, the higher the likelihood you can develop a liking toward them. You probably experienced this when you were in school or at your job. Maybe there was someone there who you didn't like that much, but then through the process of engaging them more and more over time, you started to develop a liking toward them. That's the mere exposure effect. You also get the benefit of, because you're seeing the same people over and over again, there's more opportunities for someone to talk to you. Maybe you go to a bar and a person sees you and they're interested, but they're kind of nervous that day, so they don't approach you. They'll likely never see you again. In a static environment, I may not say anything to you Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but Thursday I may muster up the courage to approach, right? Just a better situation. So what you want to do is put yourself in static environments that match whatever your interest is. And then two, use the environment as a additional way to filter for the type of qualities that you're looking for. For example, if you're someone who wants someone who is in shape and take their health and fitness seriously, then going to the gym at the same time every day is probably going to be your best bet. If you want someone who is more active and likes nature, maybe a hiking community is going to be the best bet, right? So you can also use those environments to filter for the type of person you want to meet. It's just a better strategy. How to deal with a man that continues to bother you even when you block them. I would need a lot more details, love. So you might need to call in. But ignoring them would be the best strategy there. Don't give them any energy, meaning like don't even fuss them out. Just literally ignore them. Give them no energy. What if the person takes a long time to approach, like 6 months? Well, how do you know they want to approach? Because I would say 6 months would tell me they're not interested. Is age a deal breaker if he's 2 years younger but very mature? Well, I would have to ask you, how long have you talked to them? Because how are you discerning maturity? Because if you're discerning maturity based off of how they talk and what they say, that is the wrong variable to look at. But 2 years younger is negligible. You're close enough in age to where it's like it doesn't even make a difference. Right? CJ. Molly, why are you saying CJ? Molly, do you take men in your class? Can like men sign up for the class? Just out of curiosity. Or can men like spectate the class? What's up, Maya? She doing bird shit? Molly, say it ain't so. I forgot Molly's story. What guy does she unblock, CJ? At the moment, no, because it's very intimate style of dance. Women are shy at first. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. CJ said he watches from outside. He said there's like a little hole in the wall where he can kind of peek into. So I was just curious if like outside of a peeping Tom type of dynamic, could somebody like come and spectate the class? But I understand. Rules are rules. What's up, Diamond? You're late again, love. What's going on? Yeah, she held back, Danny. Diamond does not get to go to the next level. She's gonna have to. She either needs to do summer school or she's gonna have to repeat the grade because she's missed way too many classes. Oh, you've been here listening, right? Okay. We'll see. He told me why he ghosted me. So you were in a situation where you got ghosted. Okay. Why did he say he ghosted you? I don't know if there's any excuse for ghosting somebody, but he said he felt I was financially too much. Was he spending money on you? Oh, you requested. Let me bring you up. My bad. Yo. Come on, Molly. Don't do that. Wasn't that the guy who came back after 6 years or something? I honestly don't remember. We're going to find out, hopefully.
Okay. Hello. Can you
What's
hear
up?
me?
I can. What's going on?
You can hear me?
What's up?
Oh, okay. What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So the situation, let me refresh your memory. It was this dude I was talking to for like I was friends with him for like 6 years. Blocked him because he was trying to get at me with my ex-boyfriend, and then we reconnected, had the best time ever, and then all of a sudden he stopped messaging me like after a week of hanging out. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I
And then
remember.
the strip club, like I told him like I'm a dancer. Yeah, okay, cool. So I asked him, okay, I know this is probably not the best thing for myself, but I'm just a little bit crazy and I know I need to like figure my shit out too. But I asked him, I was like, why did you, I just told him like, I feel a little bit hurt over the fact that you just stopped replying, or like you asked me to dinner and then you just didn't, like why would you ask me to dinner and then not reply to me after I say yes to dinner, right? Okay, so then he sends me a paragraph and he's like, honestly, I don't want you to think that I just up and disappeared. Like, it's because I just felt like your expectations for how much I should be providing financially are more than what I could provide, and I just don't want to disappoint you, but I shouldn't have just like up and left and not replied. But as a man, it's kind of hard to say that. That's what he told me.
Okay, that checks out. So what
Yeah.
what were your financial expectations here?
Well, shit, nothing really. Like, I like nice things, and so I think that, like, maybe intimidated him. Like, oh, she must expect for me to buy her all this nice stuff, but, like, I can do it myself.
Gotcha. Okay, so he made the assumption. That actually happens a lot with us men. If we
Yeah,
see y'all
so
are like
it's like-
posting like, luxury items on social media, a lot of us would be like, nah, she's gonna expect me to do that shit. Nah, I just can't do it.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, I can understand. That's why I kind of, like, was giving him, like, some grace, because I can understand, like, probably as a man, that's not, like, the easiest thing to tell a woman. And I also know his situation. Like, he's in a lot of situations right now, so he's not, like, financially the best off, but he's not, like, broke either, which is why I don't understand why he's putting himself in this position, like, oh, I don't have any money. But I think he just means, like, because he said, like, oh, I feel like if I don't have a 10K spending budget a day, then it's just not enough. But that's, like, so unrealistic. Like, nobody even spends 10K a day. Like, I mean, unless you're going to, like, Rodeo Drive, like, every fucking day.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
so
did
then
he
I watched
initiate
him.
contact with you to tell you this?
No. So what happened was that after like a day or two of him asking me to go to dinner and then not replying after I said yes, I blocked him.
Okay.
Because I was like, you're not about to play with me. And so I blocked him, and then I thought about it for like 2 weeks, and then it kept sitting on my head. So then I was like, all right, I feel like I am a lot more bothered than this than I think. And usually I just move on with my life. Like, I don't care for like confrontation, or I feel like nothing said is enough said, basically. You know, like if somebody says nothing, that's everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, I feel like it's also good to like let people know the effect that they have on you. You know, I don't know if that sounds crazy, but I don't know. I just sent a message, so I unblocked him and I sent that message. And so basically, to answer your question, I initiated it. I was like, I'm upset that you asked me to dinner and then you just didn't reply. And then I don't know, like it leaves me to wonder what you actually wanted from this, because 6 years knowing me and constantly wanting to be around me, it was definitely a lot confusing, because you put on this persona like, oh, I want to be with you, I want to do this, blah, blah, you know, and then you just up and leave after asking me to dinner and we just hung out for a whole week. But I guess that's why he did that. But I mean, it would have been nice to also tell me that, you know?
Okay. So have y'all like reestablished any kind of plans to see each other?
Yeah, I saw him last night.
Okay. Oh, you move fast. All right.
That's why CJ is like, what the hell, Melly?
Yeah.
I know. He's like, dude. But we didn't do nothing. Like, we were just chilling last night. We watched a movie. We kind of just, like, ate some food, had some canes. Like, it was chill vibes.
Okay. Okay. All right. I mean, I don't see any big issues just yet. Well, I say continue to see what goes on. But if you do, I don't know if you were on the live earlier, but like remember, like you want to keep an eye on capacity.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
So as intimacy increases, as friction enters the connection, and as reality enters, you want to observe how the person responds to those variables.
No, yeah, that's kind of like what I'm trying to do now too. Because the first time around, I was being a little thoughty, but this time around, I'm gonna be smart with it.
All right. All right.
All right, I'm gonna get off this call though, so you can take the next caller. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely, love. You take care.
All right, adios.
CJ, you better move before she exits her thought season. Her thought season, the window is closing. It is actively closing. Before you see that picture on Instagram with her taking that little dump in that pool, and then that cross necklace, you know it's coming. She'll show like the pole, and then like the shots being taken, all that kind of shit, and party in the club, and then like the last slide is like, oh holy, we are faithful. That shit. That's the next step. So you got a short window. The window's closing before she take that dump. All right, so just make sure. I'm telling you, this shit always happens the same way. So just try to get in there first. All right. Wait in front of the church before you go in. Just be outside the church before you go in. Hey, whoa. Before you go in, let's just go hang out for a minute. Let's just go over here for a second. I need a pole dancing lesson. Before you go in, it's not going nowhere. It's still gonna be here next Sunday. Just give me a week. All right? Just give me a week. Let me prove that I deserve them cheeks. Huh? Let me prove it. I know too many ladies who do pole classes. I don't think anything's wrong with pole classes. I think it kind of like can get you in touch with your femininity. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I'm a bit biased though, so I wouldn't take my word on that 100%. What are your thoughts on a person who lies a lot? Is this a character flaw? Yes. We finna do one in Vegas this weekend. Y'all taking video? Or do you need someone there for moral support? I'm really good at moral support. I'm really good at being on the side and being like, yay, shake that ass. I'm really good at that type of encouragement. So if y'all do need moral support in Vegas, let me know. The team film review for sure. You better be striking comment that poll. You know what messed me up? I didn't know the poll itself turned. I thought these chicks was up there like Peter Parker. I thought they were like Spider-Man. I'm like, how are they doing that? Are they greasing their hands first? It's like, no, the poll spins. It's like learning how magic works. It's both? Oh, she's a professional. She's a professional. Okay. All right. I'm glad to hear that. Because when I heard that the poll spins, I was like, all right, well, this is less impressive now. It's still impressive, like the way that they can like control their body. Like you got to be strong for the shit. You thought it stayed still? Maya, that's probably the most innocent phrase you've ever left on the slide. I thought it stayed still. All right, let me see. Who do we got next? Yo.
Hey, hi.
What's going on, man?
Are you fine?
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like your voice, brother. I'm sorry. You got to go. Am I? The hell? What was that about? Am I? What are you talking about? It's pissed me off. Made my eyebrows dip involuntarily. He got one of them land ho voices. Land ho. Got the British are coming voice. All right. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. No, don't request back up. You got booted for life, brother. You got booted for life. You should have did your vocal warm-ups before you came up, man. You gotta ask about me. Once you cross me, it's over with. We're not forgiving over here. Okay? We're not forgiving. You think he was genuine? I don't think so. Not with a voice like that. God wouldn't do that to a genuine person. I don't think so. Up here playing. Up here playing. See, look what he just put in the chat. You so welcome, Tanzania. You still stand by your assumption there, Isaac? What's your sign? What do you think I am? What do I seem like? Gemini? No, but I do like Geminis. My best friend's a Gemini. You give Taurus vibe. My son's a Taurus. Taurus or Leo? Leo. Ugh. I've never met a Leo where I was like, you know what? That was a pleasant experience. It's never happened. It's never happened. It's never happened. Ever. In my entire life. Most I get with Leo is like, all right. All right. It's like eating broccoli. I don't enjoy it, but I don't crave it. You should meet my parents. They're both Leos. I'm Leo. Y'all aren't disproving me, to be honest with you. Y'all aren't disproving. I'm a Cancer. Have you ever dated your own sign? Yes, I've dated. How many Cancers have I dated? Hold on for a second. I tend to really get along with water signs in general. The first woman I dated when I got single was, we were born same day, same year. Same day, same year. So of course I was like, this is fate. This might be fate, right? It indeed was not fate. But same day, same. I think only one. No, I've dated two Cancer women. They both were African. Both were African. First one was Ethiopian. The other one was Oromo, which is essentially Ethiopian. That was med student. Med student was Cancer. Yeah, med student was Cancer. As an Aries, I can never date another Aries again. No, med student was like up there for probably best dating experience I had, to be honest with you. Med student was up there. She was up there. Dated a Scorpio. When I say dated, I mean like really dated, like dealt with them for a long period of time. As a Cancer, this is fate is so real, right? I tend to like create meaning out of things. It's something I try to get out of. I've dated fire signs too. I've not had a problem. Last one I dated, I think, was Aries. It's just me and Leos just kind of butt heads, man. I don't know why it is. I think because they like attention and I also like attention. That might be what it is, to be honest with you. I don't seek it out though. I don't seek attention. Now I'll just be myself. Leo, sometimes I feel like they seek it out. And said it is annoying to me. It's like a shadow projection. It's nothing really inherently wrong with them. I know it's a shadow projection on my end. They have a quality that I've disowned in myself for sure. Aries are literally crazy. How long you and med student dealt with? I dated med student for almost 3 months. Almost 3 months. You know, one thing I'm realizing, Sel, is I gave this analogy to Danny the other day. I went through a situation. I was talking to Danny about it. So I think like some of these women that I've dated, no one online has really spoke to my experience. Even my coach didn't speak to my experience. I'm like, I haven't had anyone speak to my experience where women really like you, but then they still sabotage the connection somehow. Like they really like you though. Every behavior suggests that they really, 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 really fucking like you. Almost too much. But they sabotage the connection. This is the analogy I gave Danny, right? Because I've noticed that sometimes when these women have something to complain about, the connection will work. So if they have something to complain about, if they have a problem, the connection will work. So here's the analogy. The woman is like a little girl and she's going to the doctor to get a shot. Maybe she's sick and she's going to get a shot, right? The shock is going to heal her. She wants to be healed, but she doesn't like how the healing is going to be administered. Stick with the analogy. Little girl, she wants to be healed. She's going to the doctor to get a shot. She doesn't know she's going to get a shot. She wants the effects, the outcomes of the shot. She doesn't like how it's administered. She doesn't want the shot, right? So when you take a kid to get a vaccine or a shot of some sort, what do you have to do? You typically have to distract them. How do you distract them? With like candy or toys, right? So, hey, I'm giving you the shot. You don't want the shot. You're scared of the shot, but the shot is actually going to give you what you want, which is to feel better. So in order to distract you from the shot, here's like some candy or like a puppet show, right? The shot is the relationship in this analogy. The little girl is the woman. The shot is the relationship. The toys and the candy are problems. Now, what happens when you deal with a man like me or like a quality man who works for themselves? The problems kind of disappear. The problems you're used to aren't there. Maybe they're there at the beginning, but as you inform the person of the problems are handled. So the toy goes away. The candy goes away. The only thing you are left with to focus on is that fucking shot. Do you follow the analogy, Cell? I don't even know if Cell is still here. Because I've experienced that with some women. It's like if there's problems there, they're more into the connection. Because the problem is distracting them from what they don't want, which is the shot. But then as I do my job, which is to hear what problems they're complaining about, seeing if it's reasonable, and then rectifying the issue, now the problems are going away. They're not used to that. They're used to there always being problems, right? So they're used to having to protest. They're trying to issues they have to keep complaining about. You're liking these people's pictures on social media, right? Shit like that. What type of problems? Just anything. Just anything. But they're not used to the problems. The distraction is gone. It's not the only thing left to focus on is that relationship is coming. I think like as you work on yourself, especially as a man, it's like the experience of you is mistaking the anxiety and chaos for passion, right? Most people get into relationships for some sort of like need or attachment activation. That's why they get into them. Which is why when you heal, you realize how many options you really have because you're not getting into you're getting into relationships consciously now. Most people are getting into relationships unconsciously. It's unconscious. They're doing it because they either need to be with somebody or because they're being activated from like an attachment perspective. So like if you're anxious, the person's doing something to make you anxious, and you leaning into the connection to resolve the anxiety makes you more invested into the connection. Make sense? Most people are not consciously entering into relationships. But as you work on yourself, you become more conscious. As you develop, you become more conscious. You have more access to your free will. Most people, I haven't read it yet, Mary. I'm gonna read it when I get off live. Most people don't really have free will. They're just like following previous patterns. That's what an NPC is. An NPC is a person who's just moving through life on a default setting. So me and Danny were discussing this because we've experienced like some women that we've gotten closer to where it's like most men get into situations where it's like, oh, the shorty don't like them like that. It's like, that's not what we've experienced though. We've experienced being really liked. And it's like, but this doesn't work out. It's because it connects back to the thing I was saying earlier, which was the discomfort. Like how some people want to want something, but when they fantasize about a relationship or get into a relationship, they don't account for the discomfort that comes with it. So in their fantasy of getting into a relationship, they think they feel good in that entire process. They feel good dating. They feel good, being exclusive. They feel good transitioning to a relationship. They're not accounting for the fear that occurs from getting closer to someone that could hurt you. They don't account for the hesitancy you may have of whether or not this person is the right option. Those things are uncomfortable. So in reality, they feel the discomfort, and that can make them run. Now, here's the thing. When you have the toys and the lollipop, the problems, that covers up the discomfort they're associating with the vaccine, aka the relationship. Does this make sense? I'm really cooking with this analogy here. Does that make sense? With the problems, it makes them focus on that. They're focusing on the feelings they've associated with the problems, so they don't feel the discomfort that's associated with the relationship. But when you're healthier, those problems go away. So now all you're left to experience is the discomfort that is associated with the relationship, aka the vaccine. It's a difficult thread to needle because you don't want to be the person who artificially creates problems or who doesn't solve problems because you're trying to manipulate it. Okay. Okay, so next level, what causes this? It's a cultural phenomenon, Isaac. So culturally, it's the problem of us taking the lesson that if something makes us uncomfortable, we're doing the wrong thing. Because that same uncomfort is not experienced when they're dealing with an avoidantly attached person. If you're avoidantly attached, entering into a relationship is going to be so fucking easy. Not for you as the avoidant, but a person will want to enter into a relationship with you because your avoidant attachment is activating their nervous system, and it gives them something else to focus on aside from the discomfort associated with entering into the relationship itself. I've not heard another person on the internet articulate what I just articulated. What if someone knows they're self-sabotaging, then proceeds to do it anyways? People tend to not know they're self-sabotaging. But you can know you're self-sabotaging and still do it. They're still just following. It's like people know they should eat healthy, but it feels better to eat a hamburger. So for men at a certain level, that's the hardest thing to deal with. How do they break out of that and learn to enjoy the shot and see it's actually good for them? If you resonated with that analogy, I think that's the first step because now you're aware. The first step is always awareness. So it's like, okay, I'm aware that I do this. Now it's like just doing the uncomfortable thing in that situation and leaning into it. But it's more of a problem to solve on the other end of the person who actually experiences this happening time and time again. Because it's like, what does that person do? It's hard. It's hard. You just gotta be patient until you encounter a person who doesn't respond in that way. I'm not sure if the same thing happens on like the woman end, like with men. I don't know if men have the same thing. I have to think about that more. But this men definitely dealt with it because Danny's dealt with it. And he was like, yeah, I've dealt with that quite a few times. Normally, when the relationship doesn't work. Sale, have you dealt with that? I'm curious. Because Sale is also a guy who works on himself. I normally hear this with guys who work on themselves. That's why the cliche in the dating world is not to be the good guy. Because they tend to have the worst outcomes dating wise. I don't know why people cannot follow simple instructions. When I make videos, I say DM me the word coach, and so many people leave it as a comment that it's like it's almost a litmus test. Probably gonna be a bad client if you can't even. 100%. I think my ex-partner was aware, but still did it in the end. Gotcha. Yeah, sometimes you can be aware and still do it, but it's very difficult. It's very, very, very difficult to navigate. That's happened quite a few times on my end. I'm like, I see young men say they learn to not treat women well. Right. That is a strategy. It sounds horrible. But look at the analogy I just gave you. If you do just not solve the problem she's complaining about, now she can focus on that. He give her something else to focus on. I'm not willing to do that though. I'm not willing to play those type of games. So for me, it's like it's a filtering. You filter for a certain level of health. But the problem on the male end, though, is women who typically are the healthiest, assuming they're also attractive and not insufferable, they tend to get snatched up. You can find like securely attached men who are single. It's harder to find securely attached women who are single because there's asymmetry around like how we connect. Asymmetry around. It doesn't mean if a woman is single, she's not quality. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for a woman who's done that type of work, it's harder. It's harder to find. It's harder to find. A lot think going to therapy is like, well, I went to therapy, so I'm done with work. No, you're not. Is the Dallas trip during any World Cup games? I don't know. I've not been following the World Cup, man. I haven't even been slightly interested. So you tell me, it's August 14th through the 17th. Is that during the World Cup? When does the shit end? Better hope not. Why? I feel like the Airbnb probably would have been booked up if it was during that time, wouldn't it? Or am I just making an assumption here? It ends July 15th. Okay, yeah, it's a full month later. Is he on? World Cup ain't do nothing to inconvenience me. In what way? Oh, you're in Atlanta, right? So I know that traffic is horrendous. Again, Danny said to add and DM him if you're interested in the Dallas trip, by the way. So if you're trying to come, chill out. You want to get your bunk bed on lock. DM Demito. His video is not performing and I don't know why. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'll message him back in a minute. Sorry, I'm like multitasking with work also. Okay. I live by the stadium now. Oof. Yeah, Danny, Sale also got the implementation package. So, Sale, you know that I didn't connect. That's who you were. Like, I knew it. I knew it before today, but I didn't know that you were that client. By the way, I gotta start using the same usernames across the board so I can recognize you. Sale was like, "Yeah, you talk to me on live sometimes." I'm like, really? Oh, I don't know. I don't know who the fuck you are, but all right, I believe you. CJ, are you coming? Yes or no? Are you coming? Yes or no? What is the probability that you're coming, CJ? More in than out? Okay. Give me a number. What's the probability that you're coming? I know how it feels to be waiting on payment, so we're not gonna hold you up. Yo, let's get Danny paid, man. He already put half the payment down. But he said no one. I'm gonna send my joint today for you, bro. Why can't you come, Mary? If things change for me, I'll just get a hotel. Nah, CC, if things change, you're gonna be in the house. What you mean? You're not getting a hotel, you're gonna be in the house. You might have to sleep in the shower or something, but because my bed is on lock. Whatever that king is, just expensive in school. Okay, I got you. I got you. Maya says she'll pay your way. CJ, or whoever said that. Mary. One of the many couches. It's a dope B&B. So I can pull a picture up again. A little slideshow. Where we at? Hold on. My shit about to die. Hold on one second. Let me unplug this really quick. Plug this up. All right, where we at? So this is the B&B right here. This is the B&B right here. That's what we're gonna be at. All right, looks nice, right? Looks nice. Crazy they don't have a pool though. Express says she gonna throw down the kitchen. You feel me? She gonna throw down the kitchen, get everybody fed. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Where I'm sleeping at? Where I'm gonna be sleeping? Okay, got a little king right there. Yeah. Rooms look kind of close together for my liking. I just realized, like, hold on. And then it's like the master bedroom. It's like you got the bed, and then the door opens, and I see bunk beds. It's a little close. Right? So it's like, that's it. Cool, right? I can stretch out, but then boom, right there. See how that door opens? And we right there? I'm a little too close to y'all. I don't like that. I need a little space. I need a little space. It actually, it's a double-edged sword, actually. It provides easy access. But it's also too close for comfort. Not that type of trip. I'm just talking about one of y'all snore, CC. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about what you're thinking about, CC. Huh? We're not talking about that. We're just saying Maya looks like a snorer. Okay? She looks like a snorer. And if the rooms are that close, I'm not trying to hear it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. He could have saved this goofy ass fire pit and just put a pool out there, man. He really could have. Are there any like pools like near? This whole time in my head I was like, hey, we have a pool, right? I'm known for getting into the jacuzzi real quick. But I blame myself because Danny did send me the options. And I was like, that one. Because this was the other option right here. I feel like I conflated the two. And I said yes to this one. But it was actually the wrong one. Like, this is the one I think that was in my mind when I said yes to that one. Whoa. Hold on. Is that it? No. Okay, we're still going. All right. Someone said that looks so much nicer. This one might not sleep as many people though. But it got a little jacuzzi, you feel me? To be honest with you, bro, we might do multiple of these per year in different parts of the country. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Danny, how you feel about that? How you feel about that, Danny? You down? If people can financially swing it, because I might do multiple. I'm a big trip guy, man. I'm more like once a quarter type of guy, to be honest with you. So you down. We might can do this multiple times. We might yeah, we could do one Q4 as well. If you down, Danny. Y'all ain't trying to say this one goes first. I already know it's gonna be a blast, Bobby. Like I'm a very social, like on the go kind of guy. You feel me? Business is doing well, so it's like, why not? But Bobby, also me and Danny are planning on doing seminars next year. So part of this is to test the viability of that. That's part of the motivation. So yeah. But yeah, Danny seemed like he down, man. Danny be trying to get gone. So I'm like, hey, don't threaten me with a good time, huh? Don't threaten me with a good time. I'll get gone real quick. I'm not the international guy, but like in the US, where we going? I'm down. I'm a man of action. Right. We need a Midwest trip. Midwest where, Maya? Where in the Midwest? You trying to go? I don't think we're worried about you per se. More like the people coming. Oh, I don't know. We'll figure it out. NC trip. I'm in NC. I'm gonna get out of NC. Not like permanently, but like we making an itinerary yet? Who? Danny. Who was in charge of the itinerary? We can do Oregon. I think ain't that where Ariana is? Hannah Bach can swing it. So Hannah hasn't done the. You and Hannah like maybe you do like the first draft and then she comes in on the back end. California. I was just in California. I ain't trying to go back to California right now. We're just in LA. So you want to do hiking? Boise, Idaho is fantastic for that. Boise, a dope city in general, to be honest with you. Um, yeah. Come to Boston. I might gotta come to Boston. So Bobby is. Yeah, we gotta go to places where we know we got like a OG or like a either a mod or an OG in the chat, so the OG can like kind of show us around the city. Where are most followers? Just most followers in the big cities. I was recognized in DC when I was there. I was leaving the zoo with my son and nephew, but it was like I know you from somewhere. I was like, where, man? You make videos on TikTok, don't you? Hell yeah, you got me. I don't have any money on me though. I got no bread. Just so you know. I don't know what your intentions are. Me and CC got LA on lock. It'll probably be another year from out there to California, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Yes, you act like you don't know where he recognized you from, right? Well, I do have one of those faces, to be honest with you. So when I used to work at the hospital, people would come up to the front desk a lot where I used to work and be like, I know you from somewhere, man. And I'm like, I promise you, you don't. Promise you, you don't. So I don't know. Anywho, I do have to run, people. I got calls coming up. So, if you want to, hold on, welcome to Boston Q4. We got to go somewhere warm. I'm with you. If you're having an issue, you spiraling in your dating life, if you have a painful dating relationship experience that you want the solution for, you want clarity over, you should book your 1 hour coaching call. I can do all the above in an hour. Okay. If you want your 1 hour coaching call, this icon right here, hit that button below, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If you are approved, I don't take on everybody, but if you are approved, I will send you a link to book your call. Okay. Also, people, I have these streams repurposed and republished on YouTube. So link in bio for that. Name on YouTube is at The Signal Dating. I'll be live again tonight. I'm not canceling it tonight like I did last night, but I will be live tonight for sure. So if I didn't get to your question this afternoon, I will get to it then. All right. Appreciate the mods. Appreciate the chat. I will see you all tonight. Y'all take care.